All right, we have made it. We are 1 month officially into 2021, which means I have made it 1 month since switching over to being a vegan this year.
Short answer, being vegan just makes you better than most people.
Bingo.
I wanted to take this time to share my experience with anybody who's looking to possibly make the switch, or just anybody in general that might be curious about what it's like to go vegan. Let's start with the positives. My body has never felt better, and a big goal that I had leaving 2021 is that I wanted my body to feel the best it's ever felt, and so far, so good. I definitely felt some immediate impacts when I switched off of dairy, and I've seen some incremental just increases in how my body has felt since switching off of meat and just all animal products in general. So overall, we're 1 month in, and it's accomplishing the goals. I feel better than I've ever felt.
I feel good.
Now, one of the side effects of going vegan that I never expected was how much less my grocery bill is each and every week and each and every month.
Our prices have never been lower.
Because I learned that buying meat is actually really expensive. You would never realize it until you go through and remove it from your grocery list, and then you see how much money you start saving every single week. It's not something I intended, but it's been a nice added bonus of switching off of meat and dairy and just going straight vegan in 2021. Now, before I dive into the challenges, I wanted to take a quick second and welcome you if this is your first time on the channel, and just ask that you like and subscribe if this is any sort of the content that you're into. I'm going to be making this journey of going vegan and a ton of other life choices in 2021, and I welcome everybody to come along for the ride. So if you're interested in all things human sustainability, new content will be dropping on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays throughout the remainder of the year. So we welcome you to the community. Now, let's talk about the challenges. In 2020, my wife and I switched to what's called the Plant Paradox diet, which is a lot less meat than we were typically consuming and a lot more vegetables than we had ever consumed before. And so all of 2020, I basically was able to really lower the amount of meat and dairy I was already eating. And so I wasn't, going over to being a vegan in 2021 and just doing it cold turkey, like no pun intended. I had a bit of a transition phase in there, and I could see this being really, really challenging for anybody that does not have sort of that transition phase along the way. If I was to just tomorrow be vegan after not being vegan, I think it would be a lot more difficult. So luckily for me, I'm not dealing with a lot of those issues that I would have been dealing with had I, not been on the path that I was on last year. Not eating any meat, dairy, or animal products has not been the more challenging part of this because of that, which is nice.
All too easy.
Now, I have slipped up a couple times with ghee and with ranch dressing, but besides that, I've been all right. Here is where I have struggled. When you have any sort of dietary restriction, a lot more planning for your life is involved, and I never realized this before going vegan. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. It's a very large city. The odds of me being able to find vegan or at least vegetarian options are very, very good. But when I went back to my very, very small town in Michigan, I quickly realized that there aren't as many options in smaller areas. And unfortunately, I didn't know this whole planning thing until I was already there. So it's not something that anybody told me ahead of time, and so I'm passing this along to you. Essentially, I was living there for a couple weeks, and I was food stranded, if you will. So I learned that while you're traveling, you have to have a plan. I downloaded an app called The Happy Cow, and what it does is it gives you vegetarian and vegan options in basically all across America. And so now, before I travel anywhere, the first thing I do is I look on the app and I see what options are available. And if there are no options available, or if there are limited options available, I know the first thing that I do wherever I'm traveling to is stopping at a grocery store and making sure that I have the food that I need to continue to live my lifestyle. Now, visiting home also led me to another struggle that I never thought I would have to grapple with, and that is the fact that it is a very hard concept for people to understand you making the switch to vegan. I'm going to share a really funny story about my dad. When I told him I was a vegan, or I was trying to go vegan, he didn't grasp it. He couldn't understand. And one morning we're sitting there making breakfast, and he's like, "Hey, listen, I got you. I'm making you breakfast." And so he put together a nice little breakfast burrito for me, handed it to me, and I opened it up, and there was a ton of ham inside the burrito. And I looked at my dad and I said, "Dad, there's a bunch of ham in here." And he goes, "No, it's not that much ham though, so you're okay." And that's when I realized that it was going to be a lot of hard conversations, because not everyone's going to understand that you aren't eating meat. Doesn't matter if it's a small amount or a large amount, you're not eating meat. And I do my best not to bring it up, not because I'm ashamed of it or anything, but because the conversations are awkward and I don't really want to have them. I'm definitely not pushing my lifestyle on anybody else, but you are going to hear a lot of, wow, that sounds really stupid, or why on earth would you do that?
You're crazy. I like you, but you're crazy.
And I wasn't really prepared for that, but now that I've gone through it, I'm a little bit more prepared for having those conversations if need be. The last challenge that I came across was, where the heck do I eat? What do I make? Like, what do I cook? What are my options? I didn't really know what to do. Already in 2021, I can tell that I'm cooking a lot more, and I see that trend just continuing. I enjoy cooking, and it makes sure that I know exactly what ingredients are in my food. So I definitely see myself cooking a lot more. So the very first thing I would recommend is just find yourself some sort of cookbook that you can get some ideas and some recipes. Follow as many vegan or vegetarian chefs as possible on Instagram or social media, because they're going to give you a ton of ideas, because you want to make sure that you continue to keep things fresh. I guess you could say that about anybody, not just people going vegan, but I find that the more ideas I come across when I'm either, again, in the cookbook or online, it just makes things a lot easier, because I'm keeping things fresh, keeping things creative, and I'm making some amazing food along the way. Now, I don't know if I will stay a vegan forever, but I do feel confident after 1 month that I'm at least going to be able to make it through 2021. Now, if you have any good vegan chefs, or if you have any tips or tricks on how to make it easier to go vegan, please comment below and let me know and share with me, because I'm looking to make things easier on myself as well. And I'll follow literally any vegan chef on Instagram that I see. Please like and subscribe and just follow this channel, follow this journey that I'm on. It's not just about going vegan. There's so many other parts of my life that I'm trying to improve, and just improving all things human sustainability at the end of the day. As always, not a scientist or a doctor, just a normal guy on a quest to better himself.